Howdy, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the B Team. It is Tuesday, September the 16th, 2025, and I got to say the mood around here is a little bit upbeat and a little bit happy. After a wild Texas A&M win in South Bend on Saturday night, we're going to get to that. Obviously, it is a top 5 Tuesday. We got a lot of top 5s today. The college
you
football
went kind of crazy with it.
Landscape is going to dominate our discussion today. I have prepped, or I thought I may have prepped, Cade and Richard. Hopefully they've done a little bit of research. They've done a little bit of homework.
So I will say there was some criticism of me specifically in one of the comments on the
I forgot
on Thursday. Warranted. Hand up.
That's what
Hand
we are.
up. I am not disinterested in football. Like you, like everybody at TexAgs, like Cade, like everybody, love college football. Love my Fighting Texas Aggies. I was able this week to watch more college football games than in weeks past to begin the season. Obviously, it's still a new season, just because of the nature of when Texas A&M's time slot is and the work that's required of us here. However, I think this week in the NFL, I might have watched like the least I've ever watched.
Same. I had Red Zone on, but I had chores around the house.
Sunday was a really weird long day. I did watch overtime of the Cowboy game. I'm a Lions fan, but because Cowboys and Lions are playing the same time, didn't get the Lions on Fox. And then I was able to watch the first half of the Texans game last night.
I got to go hand up on the Texans. I was wrong.
They don't look that great.
I was wrong. The offense is woeful.
Which is surprising considering how good C.J. Stroud is.
And inevitably, because he gets pressured in 2 steps in every drop back, he starts seeing ghosts and the game gets sped up. And I thought he was sped up for a lot of the second half last night. I thought their first-year offensive coordinator did not give him any easy access throws to get him up and going. And I overestimated the value of skill position players. I was talking to somebody that knows infinitely more about football than I do last night. And they're like, look, man, like no matter what the level is, peewee, college, pro, if you don't have guys that can block, your skill positions matter way, way less. Sure. And the Texans they're hurt. The receivers are hurt. Christian Kirk being out, I think, is a big loss. Obviously, Tank Dell being out is another big loss. Nico Collins is awesome. Joe Mixon being out's a big loss. I like Woody Marks. I wish they'd give him more run. Nick Chubb is serviceable, but I think Woody Marks gives you more juice. The issue is up front, and I did not put enough stock in the movement or lack thereof that they made in the offseason to try to improve it. And it will be the downfall. They're already 0-2. The odds of you making the playoffs when you start 0-2 are something like 14%. The Indianapolis Colts look awesome through 2 weeks and seem to be the clear favorite in the division. And, oh, by the way, if you didn't watch on Sunday, and I only caught bits and pieces, Cam Ward looks like he's the real deal. So now all of a sudden –
Cam Ward from where?
Columbia, Texas.
Yeah, one of the guys you were high on as a high school recruit.
And, kind of out of nowhere, the Texans are falling back toward the middle or bottom of the division, because they refuse to make additions on the offensive line. And the defense was okay last night. They allowed a 4th and 10 play where Henry To'oTo'o has got Baker Mayfield dead to rights in the backfield. Baker slips the tackle, runs for 17, and then from that point on, it felt like we were only watching the inevitable. They were going to go down and score. I have, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for me are a non-offensive club. Like I have no issues with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I enjoy Baker Mayfield's style.
I did not like him when he was at Oklahoma, but since he's gotten to Tampa Bay and really settled in and kind of taken that starting job and ran with it in the post Tom Brady years, really like him. Obviously, love Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer and one of maybe the greatest football player to ever play at Texas A&M. If you want to make that argument, I think people would listen to you. And I like their head coach, and like they're not offensive, but it was like so frustrating to watch the national spotlight on Houston last night and the offense lay that type of an egg. So what'd you think of the 6:00 game on a Monday night? I thought that was weird. I was completely unprepared for it.
Yeah, they're doing these doubleheaders on Mondays, which if you're an NFL fan on the East Coast, that's got to be brutal.
Well, imagine trying to get to NRG at 5 o'clock on 610.
Yeah, they were showing shots of the crowd like 10 minutes before kickoff, and there was hardly anybody in there. And I'm going, yeah, they're all stuck on 610 trying to get in.
Miserable. That happened to our Kaylee Dreyer. She tried to go to the game. She said she didn't get there till halftime.
Wow.
Because she was stuck in traffic on 610.
Gracious. So, yeah, it makes it tough. That stadium's in just the worst part of, especially if you're coming from anywhere on the north side of Houston to try to get down into the south side. It's an impossible spot to get to without traffic. But I was really frustrated last night with the Texans, but good thing that the Aggies did so much to put smiles on our faces on Saturday night. We're going to talk a lot about that. We have coaches getting fired across college football. We're going to have our top 5 biggest winners and losers of the weekend. I threw another top 5 topic out this afternoon to you and Cade, which I'm very interested in discussing.
Did I not see this? Hold on. I'm going to have to look through my email. Go ahead. Sorry.
I saw that, Brownie. I think it's very interesting because a certain name will not be on my top 5.
The one about quarterback.
Yes, the top currently as of September 16th, this afternoon. Who are the top 5 quarterbacks collegiately in the state of Texas? And finally, our fun top 5 list will be your favorite band/artist. And I put favorite, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm looking for. Who are the band/artists, and this may coincide with them being your favorite. Who are the band/artists that when their music comes on your playlist, you skip the least? You understand what I'm saying? So they're rarely skipped artists. And what jogged this thought in my mind was because we talked, was it last week, about Chris Stapleton and some of these other artists that you can recognize their greatness and their talent, but when their music comes on your playlist, it's usually a skip.
Really interested in it. Yeah.
So what's the inverse? Who are the bands that come on your playlist that you say, you know what, I'm not skipping this, and you just let it ride most of the time? All right. So let's do this. Let's start in South Bend, Indiana, and let's start with not even game breakdown because that's what they do on TexAgs Live. Let's talk about our game watching experiences. Cade, where were you? What kind of reactions did you have? Because let's just break it down to these 2 things. What kind of reaction did you have to the Terry Bussey kick return and then the Burkhardt touchdown?
I was in my house. I was watching with my roommates and a few friends that came into town. I was on like pins and needles the whole game. Like I couldn't sit still. My leg was bouncing and stuff. It was a very stressful experience. I almost had a heart attack probably. But so the Terry Bussey kick return happened, and I was like, oh, I jumped up. I was yelling, oh my gosh, all that, and then it got called back, and I was like, well, I guess there's so much time left. I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but like, dang, it really would have been nice to have that.
I was just pulling for Terry because he's such a good kid, and like he's been on the verge of breaking those so far this year.
Yeah, he's had a couple
more of a reaction for that kick return than I did for the touchdown, to be honest. I'll go through my experience, but I just tell you, when he busted through on that kickoff return, I got up and was going nuts.
Well, so we were here at the office. We were sitting in the lobby on the couch. TV's up there. It was me, Nick Savage, Luke Evangelist, and Maria Griglione, right? And we're sitting there, and Notre Dame scored a touchdown, but the Tyler Buckner, he drops the hold on the extra point. So you're kind of thinking maybe there's a chance, kind of thing. And then Terry hits that hole, and in the back of my head, I immediately think this is like Devon A-Chain immediately answering a home run with a home run in that Alabama game. What was 2021. Yeah. And then to see the flag come out, we were jumping up and down, hugging each other, high fives, screaming. Like, I remember getting home that night and thinking, oh, I kind of got a frog in my throat because it kind of hurt from screaming so loud. And then they throw the flag, and it was like dead silence. And it was like slumped back in the couch. And then first play is that pass to Craver. I got second place, the pass to Craver, and it was like the meme where the guy's sitting with his controller and he's lounging, and then the pass is completed, and it's immediately sit up and it's go time.
It became
again.
Much more real after the pass and the catch and run by Craver. But I'll tell you this. So when the fourth down play happened, I've gotten to the point where like the ball snapped and I'm looking at the second at who's open.
Mm-hmm.
And the only option Marcel had was to throw that one-on-one ball to Berkacher. And he catches it. And I don't even all I did is put my hands on my head. Like, that doesn't happen at Texas A&M football.
I know.
That is exactly what I said.
I didn't overly freak out. My wife's like, you were screaming about the kick return, but what's going on? I was like, A&M, this doesn't happen.
No.
It's usually A&M that bobbles the extra point
At
snap.
Texas A&M, you have one chance, and your chance is the kick return. The kick return that should have been a touchdown, regardless if Theo Melanostrom is holding a guy or not, because I don't think that play truly impacted Terry's return. Right? Your chance is that play. Texas A&M usually doesn't get a second chance or not. I'm with you. And you've been watching Texas A&M football longer than Cade and I have. Cade and I both grew up in families of Aggies, but we're younger than you. You grew up watching Texas A&M, being an A&M fan, and you know as well as we do that doesn't happen.
Does not happen.
It was kind of like my reaction when the Astros won the World Series. It was like, I can't believe that's what I'm watching. Like, I couldn't I was happy, but I couldn't believe, because I thought for sure whenever they went up to, whenever he threw the 50-50 ball up, I thought it's going to get batted away. Or I'm going, did he catch it? Like, are we going to have a replay deal from the reverse angle that's going to be the ball's flirting with the ground kind of thing?
Yeah.
And it was clean. They didn't even review it. And it was like, okay, now we got to hit this extra point. Like, this felt like it would be an A&M thing to miss the extra point. And he knocked it right through. And then I think every Aggie was going, okay, 13 seconds left. What can they do?
Oh my gosh, they had 2 timeouts.
I know. And I'm like, oh, they could hit a 20-yard pass and get it,
I thought they were going to Patrick Mahomes us.
6 seconds with, they get 20 yards in 6 seconds, call a timeout. Now they're pushing a long field goal. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I think was still going on through every A&M fan's heads, and it never came to fruition. So that is where I think a lot of folks, the exhale and like, hey, this is a program-changing win, but I've got a hot take. I said it before the game. I said it in the summer whenever I was hosting TexAgs Live. If you made me pick the top 5 most important games on Texas A&M's schedule this year, I think I would have had Notre Dame 5.
Okay, so list me your other 4.
I would say Texas LSU.
1, 2.
Yes, I would say at the time I would have said Florida, because I thought Florida was going to be really good.
Yeah, that hadn't aged well at all.
But I could flip that and say Auburn/Mizzou could take that spot. South Carolina, I thought, because I thought they were going to be very good. And Notre Dame
Auburn/Mizzou fits that.
Yeah. So, and then Notre Dame was 5th, because last year you lost to Notre Dame at home in the opener. And because you played so well in the other important games, you went to Auburn with a chance to clinch a spot in Atlanta. You played Texas at home with a chance to clinch a spot in Atlanta, regardless of the outcome against Notre Dame. So I have just been a little pump the brakey on some of the national narrative that this was some program-defining win. It's huge. It is huge for the perception. I'm not arguing that. But in order for this team to continue down this path, there's so much more important football to be played.
Yes, and conference games are inherently more important than non-conference games, right? You can lose a non-conference game and still get to Atlanta. A&M flirted with it last year. But what A&M's win against Notre Dame did is it bought them some cushion. Right? To get to Atlanta in the SEC championship game, you figure you got to go 6-2 at a minimum. To get in the college football playoff, sitting at 9-3, even if you don't get into Atlanta, sitting at 9-3 probably leaves you out of the 12-team playoff, or you're right on the chopping block as an SEC team. So with that marquee road non-conference win, the Aggies have bought themselves more margin for error entering conference play. But through the first 3 weeks, there are a number of games on their schedule that look way more difficult than you thought going in. And I'm not even going to include Auburn, because I still don't think we know what Auburn
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State is one. Mizzou is one. I think Florida looks significantly worse. I think South Carolina looks significantly worse. And I think we'll learn more about Auburn this week at Oklahoma. And conversely, I think we're going to learn a lot about Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners as well.
If Auburn is legitimately good, we'll learn more. Because I'm still, no offense, I'm still skeptical on Michigan.
I am as well. That no offense taken, right? I think they're a better team without their head coach in the building.
And then Mizzou, let's wait and see on them. I mean, they have played nobody with a pulse defensively, but the schedule is still got plenty of potential hiccups on it. And I would say that A&M, there's nothing that happened the other night that made me go, okay, like I feel so much better about A&M beating Auburn, Florida. Like A&M's going to score. I feel really good about the offense and the weapons and the explosive potential. But like, did anything happen the other night where you're going, okay, like this is for sure going to be it? Like the floor now is 9 wins.
No, I think the floor feels like it felt like maybe 7 before, 6 or 7 before, and now it feels more like 7 or 8. I guess that's the distinction I made from that. Is like our offense is good enough. The offense is good enough to win you 8 games.
I picked on our TexAgs tailgate show before the UTSA game. I said that one of my season-long predictions is going to be the Ags win at least 9. So I feel way more confident about that pick as I sit here on Tuesday than I did on Thursday.
I agree.
So that's huge for me and that prediction because I'm keeping track of those.
That huge win because of the eyeballs that were on it, because of the manner in which it happened, because of the A&M's recent history in those spots. I don't even say recent history, just A&M's history in those spots. I completely understand all that, but in terms of this season, there are bigger wins to come if you can get them, in my opinion. And look,
I think
I had LSU number 2 on that list. What have they done this year that makes you believe? There's people talking about them as the best defense in America, and I sit there and watch DJ Lagway, poor kid, throw the ball to them 5 times where it's not even they're not even good interceptions. Like these are bad throws.
I've got plenty to say on LSU, but what this Notre Dame does, this win does, is it elevates the importance of the other games and makes them more important and would make them bigger because as you keep winning, that number by your name is going to continue to get smaller and smaller.
I heard somebody today go, what happens if we get a 9-3 A&M versus a 10-2 Notre Dame for playoff discussion?
I think we all know how that goes. Right? What didn't we see 8-1 Texas A&M versus 2-loss Notre Dame already in 2020?
Yeah. I think the bigger issue was Ohio State there, wasn't it? Because they played
like 6
I
games.
agree. Ohio State shouldn't have gotten in, but who was the 4 seed?
Yeah,
the 4 seed was Notre Dame, who was 5, Texas A&M. So they got in over A&M.
Anyway, it was such a fun Saturday night.
It makes this week and next week so much better.
Oh, I love that.
How many times have we
up.
gone into the bye week on a loss and just had to sit and stew and have that bad taste in your mouth for 14 days?
Yeah, it's made this week already has gone by super quick to the point where I was getting ready to come up here for the show and I was trying to explain to my wife all the stuff that I had to do before I leave for Utah on Thursday, which by the way, Richard and Luke, I think will be hosting B Team in my absence on Thursday.
Yeah, we're going to make it I mean, if this is the B team, I think we're way down the list. We might be like the G team.
The J team.
The J team. Well, 2 of us. 2 of 3. Cade, do you want to help us form a minion? I don't think you have what it takes.
I was trying to discuss with her all the stuff that I've got to do, and I went, oh, it's already Tuesday, and I leave at Thursday. 7 a.m. Thursday morning. So I've got a lot of stuff to get done before I head out of town. But you're right. It does make the days go by a little bit quicker, and I'm going to enjoy Saturday with you feel good and you got your feet up and you can just watch football across the country happen.
It's like Ebby Calvin Nuke Lelouch once said, I love winning, man. I love winning. You know what I mean? Like better than losing.
If you don't know that reference, I can't help you, and the world can't help you.
Watch Bull Durham. Yeah. If you're under 13 years old, ask a parent's permission.
I don't think we have that. I don't think that audience exists for the B team.
I hope not.
All right, so let's start going around college football from the weekend. We always start with our 5 biggest winners and biggest losers. We're going to start from number 5. I will get us going. I understand my number 5 pick is not going to be a popular one. I watched a lot of this game. It may be that their opponent just absolutely reeks and is very stinky, but I like what Alabama did. And I like the way they're playing, and maybe getting beat up by Florida State in week 1 and getting the attention off of them for a little while was good. They blasted Wisconsin.
Yes,
and
they
Wisconsin
did.
is not good. I realize that. But they ran through them like sauce through a sick calf.
Big time. Kalen DeBoer's kind of gotten everything back together under control after that loss to Florida State. And we're going to find out just how much he's gotten things back together next week when they play Georgia. Mm-hmm. Similar to you, my 5 is the likelihood is the opponent is very stinky. But the narrative around this game entering Saturday was that Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners were going to have a hangover, kind of sleepwalk into Philadelphia to face Temple the week after beating Michigan. Even Kirk Herbstreit on College Game Day said that he thinks he thought that game was going to be tied 17-17 at the end of the third quarter. Oklahoma left absolutely no doubt. John Mateer is establishing himself as a Heisman contender. How good is he? We're going to find out. Big game against Auburn this week.
They got plenty of tests.
Then 2 weeks from now, they're going to have Red River. So huge win for Oklahoma. Proved that they didn't have a hangover after a big nationally televised game. Good on Brent Venables and company.
Okay, who is your number 5? Biggest winner?
My number 5 biggest winner in kind of like similar fashion. I went with this team isn't the team that they beat wasn't necessarily bad, but I went with Miami just because there was like I guess there was a little bit of question this week, like, oh, is USF going to do it? You know, are they going to keep the run going? And Miami kind of they smushed them. They kind of got the benefit of whatever weather delay there was over there, but they were winning when that happened already, and they left no doubt, and they just destroyed that
Carson
USF
Beck's going to be in the Heisman discussion.
Good. That Miami team is good.
Yep. I think this Miami team, at least through 3 weeks, looks like they're legit, and Carson Beck's playing at a very high level. Number 4 on our biggest winners, this is going to be an unpopular place for this team, Georgia Tech.
Ooh.
That is my number 4 as well, Brauny.
I have Georgia Tech at 2. I had them way higher on my list.
Can I give you the reason why I have them at 4?
Sure.
I think Clemson stinks.
I agree.
Yeah,
and
that's why
let's go ahead, Cade.
Yep. Yeah.
Play the clip.
Oh, the clip. Yeah.
If they want me gone, if they tired of winning, they can send me on their way, because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? I'm just asking. Is that good? I don't know if that's good or not. To win your league 8 out of 10 years, to go to the playoffs 7 out of 10 years, to be in 4 national championships, win it twice. Yeah, we're a little down right now. Take your shots, but I got a long memory, in case y'all don't know. We'll be all right. We'll bounce back. This is a program built to last. Always has been. Always will be. And I would just say, if you give up on us if you don't believe in us because we've lost 2 games down to the last straight and you didn't believe in us anyway, so it don't matter. You wasn't all in anyway. If you're all in, you burn the ships, man. There ain't no.
It's a program that's built to last, but it's also a program that's built in the name, image, and likeness of God. Dabo Swinney, he's one of the biggest cornballs in all of college sports. What a buffoon.
It's hard for me to even. He's made that program a lot more unlikable.
He's lucky that game came down to a fire drill field goal. They were down 13-0 in the first half.
They were down, and they
didn't get run out of Bobby Dodd.
Don't forget they were down to Troy 16.
I'm not forgetting.
Again, we're going to go back to LSU in a minute, but that's another data point for LSU.
Yeah, make sure you remember that, Dabo. You were down 16-0 to Troy, and then 13-0 to Georgia Tech. Oh, and you got punked by LSU at home.
So that's why I have them at 4, is because I don't think Clemson's very good. And now it sounds like Dabo's running major cover for the arrows being thrown at his program.
I had them higher on my list because if you look at the AP poll, they were unranked last week. They jumped up to 18 in the AP poll. That's 7 spots. That would be the highest leap of anybody in the country.
That's a good point.
Impressive win by Georgia Tech. Haynes King, again, former Texas A&M quarterback, only furthering his Heisman candidacy. Through 2 weeks, he's had 2 marquee wins that have had people talking about the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. That's impressive stuff.
Number 3, I have got the Vanderbilt Commodores.
I also, can I tell you who I had at 4?
Oh, yeah.
Real quick. Sorry. I had a Georgia Tech's rival, Georgia, at 4. Specifically, Gunnar Stockton. Similarly to Marcel Reed, there were a lot of naysayers about his ability in the preseason, national pundits, people who cover the SEC saying this kid can't get it done. And I know that Tennessee missed a field goal as time expired to even send the game into overtime. But you make your own chances. They were down 8 points with 2.5 minutes to play. He took them on a long drive. There was a 28-yard touchdown on 4th down.
Dude, he threw some dimes.
And yes, he did. He made some incredible throws, similarly to Marcel Reed, into tight windows. He got the touchdown when they needed it. They got the 2-point conversion when they needed it. 304 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, and then the one on the ground. I thought Mario Craver should have been the SEC Offensive Player of the Week. I've got no problem that the league gave it to Gunnar Stockton over Mario in a conference game.
I think so. Georgia had 37 pass attempts or something like that in the game.
He was 23 for 31, Gunnar specifically.
Okay. Yes, he played great. He played great, and Georgia's on my list too. They are just a little bit higher on my list. At 3, I've got Vanderbilt. And let me tell you something. Look, Lenore Sellers went out of the game. I think that shows us that South Carolina they've got major issues when he's not on the field. Like, they might have had issues with him on the field based off what we've seen. Don't forget, the stinkiest team in the country perhaps was right in the middle of the game with South Carolina in the opening week. Like, they were right there hanging with them. And we're going to get to that team here in a little bit. But when Lenora Sellers goes out of the game and then Vanderbilt whipped the dog out of them.
They were going to lose that game with Lenoris in it.
I think so too.
Diego Pavia is only furthering his legend.
Yeah, and they keep winning games.
They're going to get somebody else. They are going to get somebody else on this schedule.
And it might be our friends in Austin.
They go to Alabama. They face LSU. They've got Mizzou at home. They go to Austin. They get Auburn, and then they got to go to Tennessee. Like, they are going to win probably 2 of those games playing the way they are right now.
And I love the way they play. They just physically, after the Sellers went out, they were winning the game at that point anyway. They whipped South Carolina.
I love Clark Lee.
31-7 final on the road at night in Columbia. And I think I picked Vanderbilt outright last week in our picks, and I think the spread was 5.5. So the difference in what Vegas thought and the actual score line was 29.5 points.
That was free money. It was free money.
That's another team that was unranked and is now top 20 in the college football.
Kate, who'd you have at 3?
So at 3, Vanderbilt's on my list too. They're a little bit higher. I had at 3, I had Georgia. So I think I had Georgia at 3 because, and I had them a little bit higher than Georgia Tech because I fully expected Georgia Tech to go in and beat Clemson, honestly. I did not fully expect Georgia to go into Neyland and win that game, especially in the fashion that they did with their offense. I think that's pretty impressive because usually that's, you'd think that's going to be a defensive game. But Neyland is a tough place to play and a tough place to win. They get rowdy over there, and I'm pretty sure they had one of the better home records in the last few years. So
the first half, Joey Aguilar was on fire in that game. For Georgia to not crater, impressive stuff by Kirby Smart, but he's also one of the best.
That's a program's built to last.
Yeah, that is. He might be the current best coach in college football, Kirby Smart.
Absolutely. Who was your 3?
My 3 was Vandy.
Yep. Okay.
I love what Clark Lee's done. Barton Simmons is the GM there. Diego Pavia, Eli Stowers, they're awesome. They're finally getting the facility upgrades they need to kind of compete in the SEC. I never think they're going to be a perennial power in the league, but I don't think they're going to be doormat anymore as long as Clark Lee is there.
Somebody's got to be a doormat, and it appears that Vanderbilt's tired of being it.
And it's going to be the Kentucky Wildcats.
It might be. We got to talk about the Wildcats here in a little bit too. All right, my number 2 biggest winner of the weekend is going to be surprise some people, but I just went into some detail of why I didn't think that this was super, super important for the Aggies, but I have Texas A&M at number 2, biggest winner of the week, for all the reasons that we talked about. National primetime game. They made the play that they don't typically make. It got a lot of eyeballs on Marcel Reed, deservedly, how he's played. They got a lot of eyeballs on Mario Craver, deservedly, because of how he played. And I think a lot of folks are going, this A&M team has got real weapons. I thought Le'Veon Moss looked almost back to his old self. He was a workhorse. He's so good when you got to get a yard. And you know what it made me think of? Watching Le'Veon just churn away at the goal line. I'm going, it's hard for me to watch this and not imagine the difference he would have made against Texas last year or even against Auburn.
South Carolina in that game.
Yes. So I still think maybe he's missing some stuff, like his vision, just his reps and feel for the game is not all the way back, but he was a dadgum workhorse the other night.
If you're going to carry the ball 20 times for 83 yards and 3 scores,
yes,
I'll take that every time.
One of them, he ran right through a safety. I mean, knocked his helmet off.
Knocked that dude's helmet off
It
with
was
his
awesome.
forearm. Yeah,
It was
Carried
awesome.
him,
I got
man.
the Aggies at 2.
I had Georgia Tech at 2.
Okay.
I had Vanderbilt at 2.
So everybody, you two, I'm guessing, had A&M at 1.
I do have A&M at
Correct.
1.
Yeah.
And I had Georgia at 1. And the
Okay.
reason why is because I think Notre Dame and Tennessee are comparable. Like, I think they're pretty evenly matched teams, but I think going in to win at Neyland is tougher than going in to win at Notre Dame. Now, everybody that was in South Bend said that the atmosphere Saturday night was incredible. Billy talked about how loud and raucous it was. I was listening to some Notre Dame reactions talking about how rowdy the stadium was, and it's usually not like that. So credit to the Fighting Irish fans, maybe the SEC opponent coming in there, ratcheted up the intensity, whatever. It still ain't Neyland. It still ain't Neyland. And I thought Georgia was a bigger winner because of how the game played out, the fight they had to come back. And A&M did too. But I'm splitting hairs here between 2 and 1, and I just gave Georgia the edge because I thought it was a tougher building to go into and win.
Yeah.
Maybe so, but I think that for me, all the history working against A&M is why I bumped the Aggies to the top spot.
I'm not arguing with you. Yeah.
I know you're not. And just because there's so much going against them, and we're such a long-suffering fan base that had been waiting for a breakthrough like this. They lost 14 straight road games against ranked opponents. They hadn't won a true non-conference road game against a ranked opponent since 1979. Now, I know that they only had
Who was the head coach then?
4 or 5 chances. I don't even know.
Okay, do you know?
1979?
That was before Jackie Sherrill?
I think it's Tom Wilson.
Yeah, it is. Yes. It is Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson. So they did something did something that Jackie Sherrill never did. They did something that R.C. Slocum never did. They did something that obviously Dennis Francione and Mike Sherman and Kevin Sumlin and Jimbo Fisher never did. And guess what? That was Mike Elko's first opportunity to do so. It was his first opportunity
And third
to beat
top 10 win.
It was his first opportunity to beat a ranked opponent on the road. Auburn, South Carolina, unranked last year. They did not play a ranked opponent away from Kyle Field in 2024.
Some of my friends I was watching that game with are not huge football fans, and they were fully invested into the end of that game. And after A&M scored that touchdown on the 4th and goal, I couldn't believe they didn't review it, first of all, just because it felt like of course this is going to get reviewed and it's going to get called back. But I was standing up yelling, like we've been saying, this never happens. A&M always loses this game. They always find a way to lose instead of finding a way to win. And it just felt so massive for momentum and for the culture, just that they found the way to win.
I'm hesitant to just go all in on because, and let's go back to the most recent highly successful Texas A&M sports team was 2024 baseball. I didn't go, this team can win the whole thing until they blitz Vanderbilt at home in 3 games. And then I went, this team can win the national championship.
I don't think we're at that point with football yet.
Not even close to there yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to win these next 3 games and maybe look really good and smush somebody. And I'm going to go, okay, if they go on the road at night in Death Valley, or they go up to Fayetteville and they handle Arkansas without any problem, and who knows what Arkansas is going to look like by then. That game could be exceptionally tough. They can score the football. Taylor Green looks awesome.
National leader in offense right now.
Yeah, he looks great. Can they go up there and they can win that game? You're going to drop one, I understand that, but there's going to have to be more moments until I go, not only is this a playoff team, I think I'm at the point now where I'm going, okay, A&M could be one of the 12 best teams in the country and get in the playoff. I'm comfortable saying that. But can this team push toward a semifinal and a final? I would need some more check marks before I go, okay, yeah, this team's got that in their tool bag. Like they've got the pieces to do that.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but understanding that and realizing that is not going to keep me from understanding that they were the biggest winner in college football this week. I don't want, and it is just this week. It is just this week.
And I love what Mike Elko said after the game. It's just the next step.
Yep.
And the one thing that sticks out, and I go back to his introductory press conference 2 years ago, he said there's no elevator to success. You got to take the stairs. And so like they're going to have to keep taking steps, and there's plenty of more steps on this schedule for them to have to take to go down as a legendary A&M football team, because if they get to the playoff, that's what they're going to be. All right. So winners are, in some form or fashion, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, and Georgia are 4 of our 5. We rotated at 5. I had Alabama. Richard had Oklahoma. Cade had Miami. All right. Top 5 losers. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and maybe I'm riding the high of.
I didn't even, for my losers, I'm not going with like individual teams a lot of times.
Okay.
I'm going with individuals.
Okay, and I think we're going to have some crossover then. My number 5 loser of the week in college football, the Texas Longhorns.
I didn't have them on my list.
They won the game. I fully understand that.
At 5, I do have someone who won their game.
For Texas, and it's probably more centered around one person. Not probably, it's definitely more centered around one person and maybe his head coach, but boy, has the shine wore off. And I did not watch that game live, but I did watch the extended highlights.
Were they highlights?
There's something going on, man.
You
can't
weird.
tell me that there's not. If it's mental, then he's got to go see somebody about that, because he's got the word you're not supposed to say. He's got the yips.
And if it's physical, he shouldn't be out there.
I've had a couple of people. I said this. I prefaced it with, I'm not a Texas insider. Don't take this as truth, but I do talk to a lot of people. I've had coaches from Louisiana and Texas tell me they believe he's got a shoulder issue.
If he is hurt, if it's a shoulder injury, how bad is the next dude that playing
that's
Arch
the question,
Manning
though.
with a hurt arm is the better option?
I don't know that it's just that black and white. If it's that, then I would have to believe that there's some politics involved in this, right?
Potentially.
Like saving face, and you have these.
I mean, the kid's getting paid a bunch of money to go to school there.
Yeah, but it's not even that. If he's legit, but my deal is maybe they thought with San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam, it was going to get him enough tough time to get right, feel better, and start turning the corner. And so they can't play like. And I understand, like, that's the reasoning too. Is like, hey, we got to play him. He's our biggest upside guy. We got to give him a chance to work through some of this stuff. But there's clearly a mental hurdle that's happened here. Like, there's no question there's that. But if there's also a physical injury, I just don't think it can be that black and white where, hey, we got to cut the cord here and play the next guy.
Just looked up the line for their game against Sam Houston.
Sam's awful.
But Texas is a 40.5-point favorite. Can that offense score 40 points?
Well, maybe with defense and special teams and short fields, but you're not going to learn anything from them this week against Sam.
Agreed.
Anyway, Texas, my number 5
biggest loser.
Could
you imagine the hypothetical here? They bench Arch Manning, and he transfers, and he goes off and is essentially having a renaissance akin to what Haynes King's having at Georgia Tech or Connor Wigman's having at the University of Houston right now. Could you imagine the death knell that could be to somebody's tenure as a head coach?
Well, it's all going to come down to wins and losses over there, right? I mean, if they win games,
politics and optics matter a ton for those people.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do, and that's why I think that there's probably more at play here than meets the eye with what's going on with Arch.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. Like there's, where winning cures all. Whenever you start losing and playing bad, stuff starts boiling up that might be an issue, or it could be completely fabricated. And the internet is the perfect boiling pot for all those things to start popping up, right? And you just, all you got to do is like, you don't have to look hard for it. Like just scroll through Twitter during or right after their games, and people are making all kind of claims and accusations about, and I hope like this is where the nastiness of college sports comes in, is like, because I've seen it on the other end. with A&M athletes and stuff that gets said, like I'm just assuming that 99% of the stuff that I'm reading on the internet is completely false. But it doesn't stop people from giving their opinion.
At 5 on my list, again, I'm going with an individual here because the LSU Tigers won the game. They looked vulnerable in doing so. But the biggest loser is their head coach, man. Brian Kelly is the most condescending, rude head football coach anywhere in the country. What is he doing? Like, I see both sides to this, okay, in that press conference because I know all about tact and when to ask questions and an art to asking questions and asking respectfully. I think the reporter it's a valid question to ask about that offense because Garrett Nussmeier is a preseason Heisman favorite. They haven't looked the part on offense at all. They think their defense is the greatest they've ever had. I'm going to go ahead and tell them to tap the brakes. But the question the reporter had is extremely valid. Maybe he asks it a little bit later in the media availability. It doesn't get the type of response. But Brian Kelly, what are you doing, dude? Stop being a jerk at every single opportunity. I think a lot of people who watch the SEC documentary on Netflix, and I'm going to bring that up a little bit later on My Biggest Losers, hint, hint, Shane Beamer, I'm going to go after you a little bit. But Brian Kelly's a dweeb. He's a cornball. He doesn't fit. He's not going to get it done. I think LSU's vulnerable. I don't think they're as good as people say they are, think they are. I don't think they're going to live up to their current ranking at all. What happens if they lose a couple games in Baton Rouge that they shouldn't, and Brian Kelly's already gone after some media members?
Oh, it's going to get loud. And they don't
Dude,
do
what
well.
What are you doing?
It just, that has never felt like a great fit from the get-go. And to his credit,
he's the most easily hateable dude in the entire sport.
Whereas Coach O was like lovable.
Yeah.
Even with
180.
a fan base that we have it's a pretty good rivalry between A&M and LSU. At least you go look at Coach O and like, he's like a funny Cajun guy, like kind of heartwarming in a way. Brian Kelly's the complete opposite of that. He at no point does he endear himself to anybody else. And I think the only reason why he's endeared himself to some of the Tiger faithful, not all of them, because he wins games.
I'll go out on a limb right now and say that Coach O will finish his coaching career with more national championship rings than Brian Kelly. I don't think he's ever going to get it done. I believe in college baseball gods. I believe in baseball gods. I believe there's college football gods out there. And I don't think they're going to let that guy sit atop the country and sit atop the sport.
Okay.
My number 5 is a little bit more straightforward than y'all's. I just went with Notre Dame because they're 0-2 and they have to play 10 pretty weak teams the rest of the year. So they literally have to. I mean, they have to run the table to make the playoff.
Well, did you see?
To even have a chance to make the playoff,
I thought it was a great point, and Billy commented on it on Twitter. Did you see Big Cat's point this morning, saying that Notre Dame at 0-2 this year is in a better spot than they were at 1-1 last year?
Absolutely, they are.
Because at 1-1 last year, that included
Northern Illinois.
A home loss to Northern Illinois where you're a 28-point favorite, and that's a hard hole to climb out of. Mm-hmm. He said, look, you've lost 2 games now by a total of 4 points to 2 teams that could be in the playoff. And if you win 10 more games, if you win every game on your schedule from here on out, which you can do, that's a very, very tenable schedule.
I think they have to do it convincingly, though. There can't be any like slip-ups or any sort of like, oh, they got away with this one. I think they got to do it convincingly. I think it's got to be a very convincing
USC's
10 wins
tough.
in a row.
I think.
Other than USC, I think USC is a good team. Yeah.
The only thing that's going to matter for them, because remember, and I think you're finding out on social media this week, they are the media darling, and they always will be. As long as at the end of the year that W column says 10, they are going to have a legitimate shout to make the college football playoff.
Terry McCauley's embarrassing himself.
It doesn't matter if it's 3-point wins over directional schools or they need overtime to get by an ACC bottom feeder. As long as they get to 10, I think Notre Dame's going to be okay.
All right, biggest losers. We continue to move down the list. At number 4 for me, we talked about it a little bit, Clemson.
I have them higher on my list. I actually have them at 1 on my list.
Wow.
Because I think Dabo Sweeney, the clip we played earlier, complete loser. I think his path to the playoff is completely over. I see no way that team runs the table and gets to 10-2 and potentially wins the ACC. They've got I think they've got at least 2 or 3 more losses. They have to play SMU, Florida State, and South Carolina. And I don't think SMU or South Carolina are world beaters now. We watched SMU lose to a Baylor team that's still unproven. But you can't convince me that Cade Klubnik is better than Lenora Sellers.
Well,
who knows if those two dudes are even going to be healthy by the time you get to the last week of the year.
They've definitely got losable games here. Like, they can lose to Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
And the way they've played, they go on the road at Boston College. Like, I don't think Boston College anything to write home about, but that's a Bill O'Brien. That's an NFL head coach that knows how to game plan.
To go from 12 to completely unranked, that's a massive loss.
Well, they started the season at, 3 or 4?
How many more of their games are going to be put on the CW?
Well, you're right, Cade. There were a lot of people, and a lot of people's preseason national championship pick, and Cade Klubnik was finding himself at the top of a lot of people's preseason Heisman picks, and they have completely cratered. But they come up at number 4 on my list this week. You said they're at 1, Richard.
I've got them at 1.
Who's at 4?
Their rival, the South Carolina Gamecocks, specifically cornball Shane Beamer. Dude, they're getting exposed. They looked like trash in week 1 against Virginia Tech. To lose to Vanderbilt like that's incredible. I think, again, I already said earlier, I think they're losing that game regardless if Lenora Sellers gets hurt. And the hit that took him out was completely clean. It's a football play. It's unfortunate that one of the best quarterbacks in the Southeastern Conference got concussed and had come out of the game on that play. But it wasn't targeting.
What's interesting?
It's a football play. What really makes me think South Carolina's a bunch of losers is the way Shane Beamer has reacted in his post-game media availability and then again today. If Brian Kelly's the most hateable guy in college football, Shane Beamer is the biggest whiner in college football. Dude.
He looks like somebody took his lollipop.
Cut it out.
Doesn't he? He looks like a kid that
Yes, he
somebody
does.
took his candy. And I think that you have to ask major questions about what South Carolina – there's 2 questions I think you have to ask if you're a South Carolina fan. What does our talent level look like without Lenore Sellers at quarterback? And then secondly, now that the SEC has an entire year of tape on Lenore Sellers, has the game caught up to him? Like, are they forcing him to do some things that he's really not comfortable doing, and it is causing his production to really tank and plummet? That Virginia Tech game, like, you go, okay, maybe it's just, we don't know about Virginia Tech yet. Now we do. And he was 2 for 8 at halftime against South Carolina State. Then he gets dinged in this Vanderbilt game, but at no point outside of their special teams and 1 drive against Virginia Tech has South Carolina looked like a top 10 team.
They stink.
So
they stink.
They've got massive questions there. They're not on my top 5 losers list this week because Lenore Sellers got hurt.
I think Shane Beamer's a fraud. I think he's a fraud.
There's a lot of folks that would agree with you.
I think he's eventually going to park himself at Virginia Tech because that's a program that's going to get left out of the next round of realignment when the ACC is the next league to die. I think he's going to park there and they're going to be fine winning 6 or 7 games. I think he's a bum. What I want to know, best question.
Cade hit you with a...
What? 6'7"? 6'7", Cade Bickham. If only Luke Evangelist were here.
I hate that, by the way.
I have no idea what it means.
I hope it never comes up on our show ever again. And I hope we can stop talking about it right now.
We will. What would Olin Buchanan have to do? What would Olin Buchanan do if he had to cover Shane Beamer on a daily basis?
It would be great. It would be so entertaining.
It would be hilarious.
The columns he would write.
And just
the ledges he would have to be talked off of.
Or just the conversation around the office would be great. And it'd be so easy to get him riled up.
I wasn't here for the Sumlin days, but I can imagine that was amazing.
Yeah. Cade, who you got?
I put USF at number 4 just because they were riding real high, and then they just got fair. They just got their shit kicked in.
Whoa,
okay.
That's our first curse word.
Parental warning. No, it's not. I said a bad word when I dropped a chicken tender a couple weeks ago.
That was our first intentional bad word. Kid
Jeez,
show.
Cade.
Kid show.
My bad.
This is a kid show.
But yeah, they got smoked. It was bad. And just I feel like that's tough after you're riding so high and you're getting a little bit of a national limelight, and then just go in there and get smoked. That's brutal.
All right, number 3 for me, and this is probably low-hanging fruit and being too critical, Florida. Nobody had any expectations, so it's hard to call them losers. I can't. I have just watched too much of DJ Lagway play football and be one of the best young quarterbacks I've ever watched and covered, and be so high on his potential for him to just lay an absolute egg and for his head coach to have 0 answers on how to fix it. I think DJ is playing with some sort of physical ailment, And I think his coach is coaching with a lot of mental ailments. And they look like they have completely given up on their season. And I think the biggest talking points around Gainesville are about what's going to happen going forward after this season. And I think they are very disinterested in this season. I have gotten a couple of text messages indicating that if Billy Napier loses on the road at Florida, there are people in Gainesville think he will
Florida,
be at Miami, which I would think that they're probably going to be double-digit point underdogs on the road. If that happens, I've been told that the expectation is he will be let go.
Wow.
Now, that's a dangerous game to play too, Florida Gator boosters, because that is your fourth game of the season. And if you dump your head coach after the fourth game of the season because it's just conveniently have a bye week after, you are going to have a massive exodus from your program to the point that I don't know at the end of the year what you're going to have left. And it's not just about – Billy Napier's got a huge buyout. But you got to think now in this day and age that it's not just about the buyout. It's about buying out the coaches. It's about the money you're going to have to spend to bring in the next coaching staff. It's going to be about the money that you're going to have to spend to retain whatever you've got left on your roster. It's going to be about the money that you've got to go into the portal with and add players. It's about your high school class and the deals that they've agreed to. If that changes with a new coach, there is so much on the line. Now, with all that, I think that it's more prudent now that if you're going to make a move, you do it before November 15th or 22nd, whatever that last weekend is. Like, I think because there's so many moving parts here, you try to give yourself as much runway, but you're playing a dangerous game if you do it after the fourth game. You know what I'm saying? Or before the fifth game. And we're going to talk about two schools that have done that, but I think they have a lot less on the line than Florida does.
So I don't have Florida on my list at all. At 2, I have DJ Lagway sharing my second spot with Arch Manning, just because I think back on when we went to Atlanta for SEC Media Days, and those two quarterbacks had so much fanfare, so many people coming out to talk to them. I was in the middle of both of those scrums, and they have both looked so bad this year. And that's all I'll say on that. I've already told you who my 2 is. I've already told you who my 1 is. I'll round out my list. At 3, again, I went unconventional on this entire list. I went with some individuals, except for at 1 with the entire Clemson Tigers. At 3, it's Terry McAuley. What a loser. This dude's walking around with Jeep's disease. You know what that is? You should look it up. He's so butthurt. He is so butthurt.
Jeep's disease?
Jeep's disease. He's so butthurt that Notre Dame lost that game. On a note, again, I'll admit it. Everyone's admitted it. It's a hold. It was a hold. Chase Besantis got away with a hold. But guess what? No calls are part of the sport, are they not?
Well, Drake Bowen's also hanging on Nate Burkacher.
Yes, it
not
happens
looking at the ball
all the time. But no calls happen all the time.
Right.
Dude, move on. Move on. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. The game happened on Saturday. Move on. Get a life. Go do something else, man. Seriously, this is something he said earlier this week. He said, quote, "I don't think it was possible for any fan base with which I interact with on X to be as vitriolic, childish, and ignorant of officiating and rules than the Tennessee fan base. But in about 12 hours, the Texas A&M fans have done it." Shut up. Shut up, Terry.
LSU grad.
You're a bum. You don't have a job in the NFL officiating games anymore, because I don't know if y'all know this. He's responsible for one of the most infamous refereeing snafus in the history of the game. He tried to cancel Bottlegate is what it's called. He tried to cancel the last minute and a half of an NFL game because he thought the way fans were reacting by throwing trash on the field was terrible. Like, he wanted to forfeit the rest of it. And the entire reason it happened is because they went and reversed a play 2 plays later. Like, they did a major no-no. He got Paul Taglia booed in real time. The ex-NFL commissioner called him and said, "You do not have the power to end an NFL game early. Get back on the field."
He's got a little bit of elevated view of himself.
Way to go, Terry. Congratulations. All you are doing on Twitter is making yourself look like a crybaby blank, because I won't pull a page out of Cade Bickham's book and say profanity on this show.
Jeep disease is an informal name for pollinitis disease, a condition caused by hair irritating the skin and causing an infection or cyst in the cleft of the buttocks.
He's butthurt. Terry McCauley, you got Jeep's disease, you butthurt loser.
All right, Cade, what do you got?
Well, first I'm going to read some stuff from the premium chat. 98%er Ag said, he has said, good on the reporter in Baton Rouge for not backing down to BK, by the way. Reminds me of another gutsy reporter.
Wow.
Oh,
Zane, shout out.
I don't know if gutsy is the
How
right
sweet.
word. I think selfish is the right word, Cade. Right? That reporter, he's
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And then the other message is, will Napier get the Mullen treatment? You're, quote, fired, but you can finish the season at your choosing.
That's so disrespectful. It's kind of what they did to Edo.
Yeah, but and Edo kept his job, right? Or no, the last year. The last year.
He beat us on
Yeah,
his way out.
that's right.
On by the way, Terry, where are you here? On one of the worst no calls I've ever seen.
Damani Richardson took that ball clean.
Richard, the Aggies won that game. We're still talking about A&M having not won in Death Valley since 1994.
A&M won that game.
A&M wins that game.
Damani took that ball clean.
You bum, Terry. Jeep's disease.
Jeep's disease. JD. Starting JD McCullough.
He's JD McCauley.
All right. Number one for me, or excuse me, number two was actually a tie at number one. I couldn't differentiate between these two. Again, I'm calling them losers. It's hard to do that when they came in with no expectations, but the results of their games on Saturday resulted in terminations, which we are going to get to next. So tied at the top for me in college football's biggest losers for week 3, the UCLA Bruins and the Virginia Tech Hokies. The UCLA Bruins got absolutely thumped.
It's embarrassing.
By
the
New Mexico Lobos. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even competitive.
No, it was so bad. I'd Tech at 3 and UCLA at my 1.
It's bad. Nico Iamaleava will be the poster boy for bad decisions in NIL for years to come now. The likelihood that he ends his college career at UCLA has now greatly diminished. He will be back in the portal looking for another payday, I would assume, here in a few months. Virginia Tech, all they did was get shut out. Was it a shutout? I turned it off.
All they did. They did
all
nothing.
They did.
They did nothing.
It was Old Dominion, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, they did score, but they didn't score. So they scored 19 in the fourth quarter when at that time the score was 38-0.
What was
Yikes.
Dawson? When did he text us about this? Matthew Dawson texted us about this game and was like, "Are you guys watching Virginia Tech?" And we're like, "Nah, dude, something else way bigger was happening."
It was the A&M game. He was texting us about Old Dominion, Virginia Tech during the A&M game, and I think Notre Dame had just scored, and we were like, hey, dude, bad time.
Yeah, and then he brought it up at halftime. It's like, who cares? Dude, what? I looked at it, 38-7.
45-26 was the final. They got beat by 19, 3 scores at home by Old Dominion, and subsequently Brent Pry was fired. Have we gotten so? Kay, did you get your entire list?
Oh yeah, that was my list. Okay. It was UCLA at 1. I mean, like I would have had like Virginia Tech at 1, like tied. But I think the whole like Nico thing that happened in the offseason, the fact that they paid him all that money to come over there or whatever they did, I just think that makes it so much worse.
Are they any better if Joey Aguilar is their starter?
Probably not.
Good for that kid. He's the big. You want to talk about biggest winner in the transfer portal? It's just him. Don't look at A&M and what they did with the receivers. Just look at Joey Aguilar.
They've got that trade.
Rags to riches.
They've got that trade looking like Josh Fields for Jordan Alvarez right now.
All right. So those 2 firings in Blacksburg in Los Angeles were
Wait,
a little bit.
Time out. Is that where UCLA is located? I need to ask Deshaun Foster.
Well, he's got plenty of time to answer you now. So here's the thing that I saw kicked around on Twitter a little bit today. Of those 2, UCLA and Virginia Tech, you are on the market. You get both jobs offered to you. Which one you taking?
See, it's interesting, right? And I already said a little bit earlier when we were talking about VT, and eventually I think Shane Beamer's going to park there. I think they're left out next round of realignment.
They shouldn't be.
Why? Make
got
the case for them.
Well, they've got a better recruiting footprint than Virginia. They have got a real football atmosphere and
they have a great atmosphere. Enter Sandman's one of the best traditions in all of college sports.
But a more rabid fan base than Virginia.
But I think both of those teams are getting left out.
Ooh, that's going to be hard.
I think both of them are getting left out.
With the DMV up there.
But the Maryland's also in the DMV.
I know.
That counts. So that's and guess what? The Big Ten already has that market with Maryland. Barely. And I don't think the SEC is going to extend up that far. And if the SEC does go further north, I think they're going to stop at North Carolina.
Yeah, Clemson and North Carolina.
I think Virginia Tech and Virginia are both left out in the next round of realignment. I think the ACC is going to disintegrate and eventually reach levels of irrelevance or just plain entertainment value, kind of like what the Big 12's doing right now.
So the SEC and the Big 10 may go to 20.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I think they're going to get left out. And that's part of the reason why if I were going to take the job today, I would prefer to have the job at UCLA. They're in a better market, but they're in a better league, but I also know they're like the 8th biggest sports draw in their own city. However, it wasn't that far, that long ago that Jim Mora kind of had them relevant. Brett Hundley, Josh Rosen. Now they never reached their full potential under Coach Mora. But it's not that far ago.
There were 300 people in the Rose Bowl last week.
Just brutal, dude. It's so sad to see them put out tarps like Baylor used to in the end zones of the Rose Bowl. It's pathetic.
I understand all of that, but as it currently stands today, I don't know what conference realignment is going to look like. I would pick Virginia Tech job over UCLA. I think it's getting harder and harder to keep kids on the West Coast, enough good players to be competitive. USC has had to dump an entire boatload of money to get some talent to stay out there and play for their home state. I think UCLA is much more up against it in that area than USC. I think they've got major funding issues. I don't know how rabid of a fan base they've got to be fired up in this space. And I think I would get I'd get more buy-in in Blacksburg, Virginia than I would in Los Angeles, California. I would pick Virginia Tech.
All right. Cade?
Oh, man. I think I'd go UCLA. I don't know. It feels like they're both like as programs on a similar-ish level right now.
They're both dead.
They're dead, yeah. And so, but I don't know. I think I just UCLA, you're probably getting it's a little bit more high profile job. Like I'm thinking about this like purely from like a money perspective, UCLA is probably a better job, and also like from a weather perspective, it's definitely a better job.
What about from a tax perspective?
I mean, definitely not a better job, but like also,
what are the taxes like in Virginia?
Probably not good, but they're not as bad as LA.
Fair.
But yeah, I don't know. I'd take the UCLA job. I think also there's at least some oomph in the UCLA brand to a certain extent.
Okay. So with all that in mind, here's a question that we can go through. Start shooting out names of jobs that are also coming open.
Florida
for sure.
Duh. Still not convinced that
Arkansas?
Dave Aranda's going to survive. Still not convinced that Sam Pittman's going to survive. Taylon Green is really the only hope Sam Pittman has in Fayetteville. And he's one bad hit away.
Mark Stoops?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I never know what Kentucky's going to do. I never, ever know. But I could see it for sure.
What about Kirk Ferentz?
Iowa?
I mean, it's got to be time,
so
dude.
Dewy, dude. It's so mildewy.
Oklahoma State's coming open.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe Oklahoma State's coming open. What about Michigan State?
They stink.
And I don't know what kind of stomach they have for his buyout. Was his second year? Third year.
We talked last week. Wisconsin
may come open.
I think they're getting ready to move on from Luke Fickell.
What do you think about Michigan, Richard? What is
I actually had this on my list. I think that Sharon Moore was always, and this is conspiracy, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. I think Sharon Moore was always built in as a potential fall guy for whatever nefarious actions Jim Harbaugh was doing behind the scenes. And Michigan is okay giving him a little bit of a silver spoon, a hefty paycheck for a year or two, and then getting rid of him and starting over. I already said it on this show, I think Michigan's a better team when Sharon Moore is watching from his basement.
Yeah, there's a lot of these teams that I think could have openings, and
but here's what I will say.
Tony Elliott at Virginia, like there's a lot. There could be a major.
Here's what I'll say about Michigan. Michigan should be 10-1 going into the last week of the year. That schedule, cakewalk.
Mm-hmm.
They should be 10-1 going into the Ohio State game. And if you're 10-2, you're probably knocking on the door of a college football playoff berth. They could host a game at Michigan Stadium at 10-2. I don't think they're going to fire Sharon Moore if he gets them in this year.
What about Deion Sanders?
Deion is just going to leave when Deion wants to leave.
I don't think they're going to be very good this year.
No,
He's
I'm just going through some of these
money though. He's bringing in money right over there. They don't even care how well that football team's doing if he's bringing in that money.
Manhattan, Kansas.
Yes.
See, I don't think so. I don't think he's been good. They're bad this year, but he's been pretty good.
I think that I agree. He has been pretty solid there. But what's going to happen there is they're going to struggle to a 4 or 5 win season. And Texas A&M is going to continue putting up points, and they're going to go, is this our chance to go get the prodigal son and bring him home?
I hope not.
Ooh.
I hope not, too.
PJ Fleck. Minnesota has stunk for a while now.
I mean,
He's been there since 2017.
I know. I just forget he's there. I forget they exist. I remember they're a thing like once a year, and that's when we do the little brown jug thing. And Michigan just punks them every year.
They play hockey up there.
Yeah,
That's
they
their
do.
thing.
That's the state of hockey, Brauny.
All right. Anyway, so there's could be a lot of jobs come open. Here were some names that I thought were going to be interesting to see. Where were they going to be coaching next year? Dan Mullen, Matt Campbell, Brett Bielema, Brent Key, Clark Lee, and Jed Fish.
So I want to go Clark Lee first. Clark Lee's not going anywhere.
I agree.
I think he is a Nashville kid. He played at Vanderbilt. He was best buddies growing up with Barton Simmons, brought him home to be his GM. They're getting funding facilities-wise. They're upgrading the where the brand has been. We've already said Vanderbilt's no longer the doormat in this league. I know when you go to these talking days, these media days, it's a ton of coach speak. But Clark Lee seems extremely genuine and honest with what he says. He's extremely intelligent. He's extremely bright. I don't think his process works at a big-time program.
It may not.
I think it works extremely well at Vanderbilt, and he's going to continue to elevate that program. Maybe he gets it to a point where they're on a fringe 10-win year.
Brent Key's a Georgia Tech grad, too.
I know.
So it's going to be tough to move
I don't
him.
think he's going to go anywhere.
Now, Jed Fish could go to Florida if they want him, but I think his shines wore off in the Pacific Northwest. Matt Campbell's another one that, I think his style is not going to work outside of Ames.
I think he has stayed in Ames too long. It felt like his time to go was probably a couple
That's
years
fair.
ago.
Yep.
Dan Mullen back to Gainesville?
Dan Mullen's an
they'll do
interesting one to me.
Dan Mullen could take UCLA.
I got to ask Billy Lucci because he ran into Dan Mullen at the Republic 4 months ago, right? And they chatted or whatever it was.
He had
So Dan
daughter.
Mullen or Gene Chizik?
No, it was Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen. Here's what I'll say about Dan Mullen. I think he's going to be pretty successful in that league at UNLV, but it's year one of a coaching rehab, man. I think you got to let him get a few more miles on those new
He's getting
tires
up in
before
age.
he
Like
goes
he's going to want
somewhere
to.
else.
If he's getting an opportunity at a bigger
How
bigger
old is
school,
Dan Mullen?
he's got to be 55 probably.
Dan Mullen is 53.
So I'm saying he may stay another year, but you can't tell me that guy if he gets an opportunity at.
I definitely think it's another
Oak
year.
State might be a pretty good hire.
I think it's another year for Dan Mullen.
Anyway, Oak State. Here's what I think Oak State's going to do: G.J. Kinney or Will Stein.
What about Jeff Traylor?
Jeff Traylor.
The shine
Jeff
wearing off of
Traylor's a
him.
good one, too.
Somebody in the
G.J.
YouTube
Kinney
chat,
might have more shine than Jeff Traylor right now.
Somebody in the YouTube chat says Dion to UCLA. Seems like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that's too much work for him to do.
He's all glitz and glam.
And he's got to play in a real
Perfect for
conference.
Hollywood.
But he's got to play in a real conference.
98% or ag in the premium chat said Prime is retiring. So
I've seen that too. He's also had the health issues too. He doesn't need to coach much longer. And Shedur's no longer there. Why does he need to stick around?
All right. So we got 2 more top 5s, and we got 20 minutes left in the show. This next top 5, we're going to stay on the football, stay on the gridiron. The top 5 quarterbacks currently that play college ball in the state of Texas. And this is an interesting exercise because of a name that is not going to be on any of our list. And you start asking, where does this name fall? But at number 5 for me in the state of Texas right now, Connor Wigman.
I have Connor on my list. I have him at 3. I struggled with this because I haven't watched a lot of Big 12 football this year, and there's a ton of Big 12 programs in this state. Like, I've seen 0 snaps of Texas Tech, and they're a top 25 program right now. Hand up, I've watched 0 Texas Tech so far, and they put up insane offensive numbers too. Who's the guy at Texas Tech? What's his name?
We're going to get to him.
Okay, we'll get to him. Yeah. So I don't have him on my list. The last I saw of TCU was when they blitzed Bill Belichick in his first game. That guy's probably should be on my list. So I only came up with the top 3.
Okay, I did not have. I probably could have gone Josh Hoover at 5. Ahead of Wigman, but inherent bias. I'm going to have Connor at 5.
Because I've watched Connor Wigman this year. I watched his game on Friday night. Connor Wigman at 3.
Cade?
I had Hoover and Wigman like interchangeable at 4 or 5. That's what I have.
At number 4 for me, I've got the quarterback of the Tarleton Texans, Victor Gabalis. And let me tell you something, brother.
Tell me that name. Say that name again.
Victor Gabalis. He is 60 for 97, so 62% completion percentage, 776 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Tarleton is 4-0. They've got a win over Army. This dude can ball.
Victor Gabalis.
Yes, the head football coach, the quarterback of the Tarleton Texans. I watched their week 1 opener. This dude, he's from Duval, Washington. Making his way in Stephenville, Texas. And he has
culture shock.
If you look at his headshot on ESPN.com, and I'm assuming they're ripping it from Tarleton's website.
Oh my God. He looks exactly like Gardner Minshew.
He looks like Stephenville, Texas has worn on him.
He looks exactly like Gardner Minshew when he was playing for the Jaguars, Cade.
Victor Gabalis, my number 4 quarterback in the state of Texas. Tarleton undefeated, going to have a chance at the FCS National Championship. They're good this year. Okay. Number 4 for Cade, you said was interchangeable. You didn't have a number 4?
I didn't have a 4. Well, I put Texas Tech's guy, but I didn't know his name.
I have him at 3. At number 3, quarterbacks in the state of Texas, collegiate, is Baron Morton for me. Mm-hmm. He is going to have a chance to move up this weekend at Utah. That's going to be a massive game in the Big 12. Massive, massive game. And to be quite honest, Texas Tech has dominated and looked very, very efficient offensively against nobodies. And everything I've heard, I remember Fran's team going up to Salt Lake City and getting trounced by Utah. I've heard that's a tough place to play, Rice-Eccles Stadium. I'm looking forward to that game on Saturday. I'll be near that game, but not at that game.
Hey, Cade Bickham, trivia question for you. When Dennis Francione took Texas A&M to Salt Lake City to play the Utah Utes, who was the head coach at Utah?
Pete Carroll?
No.
Dang it.
You're in the ballpark.
This guy has a checkered past of going to bars and maybe putting his hands where they shouldn't.
Urban Meyer? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I had Morton at 3 as well. Yeah, that's going to be a tough game, though. Shout out Luke Jones in my grad school class, Utah grad. He does say that they do get rowdy up there.
Yeah, it's the party school in Utah.
Is he a Momo?
No, he's not.
University of Utah is the party school, and then the other one. Yeah. Okay, so at number 2, Sawyer Robertson.
Yeah, I've got Sawyer
Correct.
Robertson.
Yes,
there.
that's who I have.
If they could play any defense, they'd be in the discussion in the Big 12.
The numbers are ridiculous.
If they had beat Auburn, he might have been at 1.
You know, that's something that another question that Dawson posed to us is if had Taylor Green at Arkansas beat Ole Miss the other night, is Taylor Green your leader in the clubhouse right now for the Heisman Trophy? I don't know that he'd be 1, but it would have helped his case for sure.
On the list.
His numbers have been
high up there.
ridiculous. And then number one, I think unanimous.
Homer picks.
Marcel Reed.
Homer
Marcel.
picks.
And I think put a stamp on it the other night.
For
in
the,
South Bend.
He's a gamer.
Okay, so here's the question.
For the TexAgs readers out there, a little behind the scenes, a little spoiler for you.
You're going to do it on make the big announcement on the B team?
Olin Buchanan's.
I thought you were going to do something else.
What was I going to do? We'll talk off air. Olin Buchanan's Heisman watch comes out tomorrow. Marcel Reed's at 1.
He told me that.
He would vote if his ballot were due today. Olin Buchanan's Heisman vote, would go to Marcel Reed.
Okay, and so without having to look up the rest of the quarterbacks in the state of Texas, where's Arch Manning?
Probably
Is he? Well, he's
6,
way ahead Malachi
7.
Nelson. That dude stinks.
maybe 8.
Well, if it were, you'd have to go through
Is he
like
above,
FCS schools.
Is he above or below Owen McCown?
Well, who's the quarterback at Texas State?
I've heard the quarterback at UNT's putting up big numbers.
Oh yeah, they are.
UNT is playing nationally televised game this week for the second consecutive week. The Mean Green feel as though they've got a shot to run the table and potentially be a group of 5 team that makes some noise for the potential college football playoff inclusion.
Group of 5 is actually pretty interesting this year, I think.
Because there's no real good team,
last
right?
Last year was pretty obvious, like that it was probably going to be Boise and nobody else really had a chance. But I think it's pretty interesting this year. It's going to be who can get hot and stay hot at the right time. And I mean, basically, you got to go undefeated or 11-1.
Cade Bickham, speaking of the University of North Texas, have I ever told you my Mean Joe Green story?
I don't think so.
So I believe it was maybe 4th of July one year, and I'm from Flower Mound, and that's North Texas, right? Not too far from Denton. I actually graduated high school at the Super Pit. It's important. It is important. Where I'm from is important here, Brauny. Stop laughing at me.
Everybody
Stop
knows.
it.
You've told us 1,000 times you're from Flower Mound.
Maybe somebody who's new to the B team doesn't know. Anyways, my mom sends my sister and I to the Kroger, the supermarket, to pick something up. It might have been ice cream or flour. Who knows what it was. And I am wearing a North Texas Mean Green t-shirt. I'm already in college at this point, but I'm on a mission. We need one thing. Head down. We're going to the aisle. We know exactly where it's at. A gentleman stops me, points at my shirt, and goes, "Go Mean Green." And I said, "Yes, sir, go Mean Green," and kept on walking. We got to the aisle we were going to, and I looked at my sister and I goes, "That was Mean Joe Green." And my sister's like, "Who is that?" Mean Joe Green, legend, lives in Flower Mound. Actually went to high school with his granddaughter. Nice gentleman. You can see him at the local Fish City if you he frequents that restaurant. It's a local joint.
The quarterback at Texas State is Brad Jackson. Thank you for your story. Brad Jackson would be way ahead of Arch Manning based off his numbers. He's thrown, it's like 68%, 67%. 684 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's also rushed for 255 yards. Rushed for 91 yards this season, but 3 touchdowns.
Kate, are you seeing this chat in the premium chat?
Arch might not be in the top 10.
Jet Surratt at Carthage.
Yeah. Arch is right behind Jet Surratt at Carthage.
Jet Surratt has got he got 2 state championship rings and working on a 3rd. We did go collegiate because I thought some folks would be making
Sean, TexAgs, you're now on my you-know-what list because you're siding with Brauny on where I'm from. Very rude.
I'm just saying. It's
very rude.
Very common
You know,
topic.
I'm never going to tell you guys ever again where I'm from. I'm not going to tell you anything about my personal life or anything like that. Nothing. I'm now going to be an enigma.
Here he goes. He's gone over the top, Cade. Here he goes. Make everybody feel bad.
It's a bit, Brauny. Follow the bit.
I am
Follow the bit.
You've gone over the top. Okay. 10 minutes left. We are going to have a little fun here. Okay. Top 5 favorite bands / artists. Top 5 Tuesdays. We've had a lot of top 5s today. This is our 4th top 5 list. We may have overdone it now that I'm thinking about it. Or we could have gone 5 top 5 list and made it the whole show. We
there
are
will be
working
people
our
on
bits
my
out.
list, Brauny, that you do not know.
Well, that's okay. We are trying to enlighten the audience.
Time out. You're trying to test DJ Fat Sack's musical knowledge right here.
You know, actually,
He
that's a
dropped
good
the
point.
DJ name.
I totally forgot Brauny is a baseball is a baseball guy, so he does have range. That's true.
I've got tons of range, but I'm saying I will tell you that if this is new artist, I will probably be less likely to know them. But anyway, if you missed the top of the show, this was our kind of off the beaten path top 5 like we do every Tuesday. We are going top 5 favorite band/artists, and I hesitate to say favorite. These are the top 5 band/artists who are the most consistent that you like. So it's like when these guys, or girls, when their song comes on, rarely do I skip it. Like this, they have just a catalog of songs that I really, really like. Okay. So for me, my number 5 is a little bit, my first 2 are very much where I grew up.
Okay.
Number 5, Wayne Toops. The Zydeco King, Wayne Toops. Grew up listening to his music every Sunday morning, getting ready for church. The local country station there'd be Zydeco Sundays, and they would play nothing but Zydeco, and a lot of Wayne Toops grew up listening to him. He has some affectionate nicknames. We think they're affectionate. I may tell that story another time on air. One of my buddies, one of my best friends, called him that to his face. He did not think it was funny.
I hurt my nose.
But his music, incredible. And every time I've met him, over the top nice. Great mood, always smiling. Wayne Toops, number 5 for me.
My first 2 are definitely a product of growing up with my parents and listening
Where'd
to
you
their
grow
music. Not taking the bait.
Go ahead.
Not taking the bait.
Go ahead.
I'm done. Anyways, number 5 on my list is Billy Joel. Just love his stuff. The documentary that came out recently on HBO, I've watched it twice now. We've seen him in concert a couple of times. Listened to a ton of Billy Joel music. Both my mom and my dad love his stuff. He's got a great catalog. Obviously, perfect album in my opinion might be The Stranger. No skips on that one. No skips really anywhere in his catalog. Okay, it's a long one.
At my number 5, I put Mac DeMarco. If you know who Mac DeMarco is, no, he's like he makes like like
he's
indie guy.
Okay,
kind of like new-ish, like mid 2010s.
Okay. Again, I might be the biggest Mac DeMarco guy ever in a week if you just give me a little bit to listen to. I've never heard of him. So one of the main themes of this show is we don't yuck others' yums. And that's one of Cade's yums. Mac DeMarco at 5 for Cade. Artist that we do not skip. Number 4, another one very reflective of where I grew up, Mark Chestnut.
You're a nut for the nut.
I am a nut for the nut. He used to be very, I wouldn't say ubiquitous, but you used to see him around the Golden Triangle quite a bit at various restaurants, and just grew up on his music. And he was, every time it would come on, or he'd be playing, back then it was TNT, Nashville Now, or, the old school versions of the CMAs. It was cool to see a guy from Beaumont on the TV when you didn't have the access of that kind of stuff like we do now with our phones. Mark Chestnut at 4.
For me at 4, again, my dad is one of the world's largest fans of this group. It's the Holy Triumvirate. It's Rush.
You are a massive
Geddy
Rush
Lee, Neil Peart, Alex Lifeson. I'd probably been to at least a dozen Rush concerts with my dad, where it's just me and 20,000 middle-aged men. Like that is absolutely their it was their audience. Like then they've even acknowledged it.
Sounds
like
like
it is a sausage fest.
David Nuno MMA convention.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of dudes like my dad's age and ton of stuff. Like my dad had a 6-changer, like CD changer in his BMW growing up, and it was just Rush album after Rush album after Rush album after
and they're
Rush
at 4.
album.
All right, Kate, 4.
I'm gonna keep it quick because I gotta let Sean Porter in. But not my number 4 is Childish Gambino, otherwise known as Donald Glover. You know Donald Glover.
Yes, the guy from Community, right?
Correct. Yeah,
the actor.
Yeah, and he was also on Dumbo Drop, I think.
Dumbo dropped.
He made Atlanta. Yeah, the TV show on FX.
Who am I thinking of? Whatever. I know who Childish Gambino is. The movie where they dropped the elephant out of the plane.
Hey, Childish Gambino, UCLA. Like Sosa Jamalbo.
We got to kind of go. We're up against the clock here. Got 5 minutes left, and Cade is going to let Sean Porter in, so he'll be back in a second. Number 3 for me, getting a little newer now, Cody Johnson. For a guy that didn't get popular until I was in grad school at A&M, so it was like early 2010s is when he started to come on, and he was playing the Tap, he was playing Wolfpan Creek, he was playing Harry's.
Cody's got good stuff.
His catalog starting from then, so like 15 years of music, he puts out really good songs, and a bunch of them.
3 on my list it's kind of newer to my rotation, but a little backstory. A couple of years ago, we went to the F1 races in Austin, and this band played one of the concerts. And I'm the type of guy, when I go to a concert, I'll deep dive, listen to all their music for a couple of months before I go, just to kind of get prep. The Killers. We listen to a ton of The Killers now.
That surprises me.
It's beyond like Mr. Brightside. Somebody told me like we're going deep cuts, stuff you've never heard of.
Yeah,
that's fine. They've got some good stuff. I like their sound.
They
make
genre
big,
music
loud songs, and I like that.
Okay.
Cade, you got 3?
Yeah, my number 3 is Chief Keef.
Perfect. Perfect.
Bang bang.
Do you have a Waka Flocka anywhere on your list?
Oh man, no, he's not on my list, but I got some Waka Flocka songs in the playlist.
Waka
for
Flocka
sure.
once played a concert in College Station at North Point Crossing. Do you remember this?
I don't.
I just so happened that night to I was new to College Station, so I was walking around the bonfire memorial, and you could hear Waka Flocka.
Girl, the way you do
and
it.
it's like, this sounds super disrespectful to be at the bonfire memorial while I can hear a Waka Flocka show.
That's good. Cade, your list is great.
Insane.
I do want to say
He's a madman.
I struggled with leaving one guy off my list, which was Tracy Lawrence. His best of album I could play from start to finish and not change a song. He just missed my list. I do love Tracy Lawrence. All right, number 2 for me. This is me being prisoner of the moment. Treaty Oak Revival. They rock.
They are good.
My favorite, my favorite New Texas music act, and I just let it play. They are so good.
Number 2 for me is the King, legendary George Strait. It's amazing. You can go to a George Strait concert. He could play for 3 hours, play 30 songs, and you're still going to be upset because he didn't play 10 of your favorites. Sure. We once did he did his 60 number ones on back-to-back nights in Vegas, and we did the back-to-back nights. Fantastic. Loved it. Worth every penny.
It's hard to keep George Strait off my list too. It was too on the nose for me, and he does have some ones where I'm like, I just don't feel like it that one right now. Okay, Cade, 2 for you.
Oh man. My number 2 is Playboy Cardi.
This guy's list is insane. I couldn't get in a car with him.
You were never. I knew you guys were both
Where does
like. You would
EXO
never.
Tour Life rank on your favorite Playboy Cardi songs?
That's a Lil Uzi song. So.
Yeah. Darn it! I don't know anything.
But I knew I was gonna shock you guys a little bit with this list.
Cade is who you give the aux to whenever it's just like the interns around. But as soon as the full-time employees that are older show up, Cade's got to get off the aux because everybody's going to be
definitely.
Yeah, you're done, Cade.
And number 1 for me, I have been adamant about this band. They have longevity. They have an incredible catalog. They're from the state of Texas. My favorite artist that I do not skip hardly at all, the Randy Rogers Band.
I've been listening to a lot of their stuff recently because I've been playing this band's radio on Spotify. Turnpike Troubadours for me. Love their stuff. Not a skip. I'll tell you, the only song I don't like of theirs is Long Hot Summer Day. But it's an absolute banger in concert. Love it. We went up to Waco not too long ago. Saw them at McLean Stadium. Awesome show. We're going to see them again in October. Super excited. Love Turnpike.
I hesitate, Cade, but go ahead.
Man, those are both good choices. I'm not even like the hugest I'm not the biggest into that genre, but those are both good choices from that genre. My number 1 right now, the person I don't skip is Young Nudie. You don't know who that is.
Who?
Young Nudie. Nudy.
Young Nudie.
Sean Porter knows.
Like
Sean Porter's right next
photo
to me. He
you'd
knows.
send to a girl?
Okay. That's a great
There's a
place
time to go.
Yes. I mean, Cade, what a list.
Cade.
Thank you.
Just
Big
what a list.
electricity.
Sean Porter
from
knows
Cade
who's on
Bickle.
my list, so
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Cade, you win. You won the show today with that top 5 list.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be right back here tomorrow on a We Learned Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you guys for tuning in. September 16th edition of the B Team.